Okay, welcome. I have two very special guests here with me, Coach Keith Anderson and Coach Tori Plugge. First of all, before we kind of get started, I just wanted to thank you two for coming on. I really do appreciate it during this trying time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Course.
Glad to join you.
Yeah,
And
really happy to be here.
one of the first questions I do have that I find really interesting is, Coach Anderson, while an undergraduate at Texas A&M, you played as a practice player on the volleyball team the same time Coach Plugge was a volleyball player for the Aggies. Can the two of you talk about the relationship you had when you started and how it's developed over the years?
Yeah. I was a practice player for the women's team at A&M when Tori was there. So we've spent a lot of time together, both on and off the court. We were friends in college as well. So that relationship has kind of been there for a while. And I think we know each other pretty well. So being able to coach together now is almost like a dream come true.
Well, and Keith, I coached your club team for a semester.
You did. That is right.
So
Yep.
I tried. That was my one of my first hands in real coaching, and I don't think I did very well.
Yes,
I don't think I knew how to coach guys. That was hard, but we had fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I was actually didn't know that. I was doing the research and I was trying to figure out you're both coaching careers, but that's a little tidbit that I didn't know. And I know Coach Anderson.
I don't put that one on my resume just because I wasn't great at it, but I would just take our A&M practice plans from the day and make the boys do it basically. Yeah. And that's not really how it should go.
That's all right. It was still a lot of fun.
No, I can only imagine. And it as we go down your career path, in 2014, both of you served as volunteer assistants, Coach Anderson at the Rice University and Coach Plugge with Texas A&M University. And you both had a very unique opportunity to learn from legendary coaches. And I'll start with you, Coach Plugge. Having the opportunity to play and learn from Coach Laurie and John Corbelli, how did learning from them impact your coaching career?
They're what wanted to get me started in coaching. I couldn't imagine having played it for anybody else. And so when I got the opportunity to be the volunteer for them, I was super excited. I actually joined season a little bit late because I had just wrapped up my professional playing career, and I was actually still looking for a team through the beginning of that fall semester. So I didn't join that program until maybe 2 or 3 weekends into the season. But going from being a player under them to being a coach with them, it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much more to this game and to our practices and to everything that as a player, I never comprehended or knew. Obviously I knew they put a practice together and they put scout reports together, but I had no idea the time that went into it. And just the wealth of knowledge that they had that they couldn't even get all of it into the court with us because there just wasn't enough time because they had so much. So that was a really cool opportunity for me. And it really defines, I think, who I am as a coach, is playing for them and then getting to learn from them in my first coaching experience.
And Coach Anderson, you spent a season with Coach Jenny Volpe at Rice University. How did that opportunity help you become a better coach?
Yeah, Jenny's awesome. She's one of those leaders that, she leads by connecting with her athletes. I thought that was really special. I haven't seen, up until that time, I hadn't seen that a ton with, coaches getting in and spending a lot of quality time with their athletes to let them know that, hey, we're on the same page. We're going to work through this stuff together. Open door policy. She was, really good at really getting to know her kids really well. And that's something that I've kind of taken and used in my career so far. Another big thing that I learned with Jenny is it's really important to have good people around you when you're working. There's situations where people don't always get along as a staff, but if you put yourself in a position where those connections can be genuine and great, you're going to be really successful as a coach. So those two things for me were really huge, learning that under her.
Yeah, and as we kind of go down your coaching careers, to add on to the similar parallels, what was interesting is the experience the two of you have had in the Sun Belt Conference. For those who do not know, Coach Plugge was an assistant coach at Arkansas State from 2015 2016, and Coach Anderson was assistant coach at UT Arlington from 2015 2016. How will that experience help the two of you be successful in the current Sun Belt Conference?
Tori, you want to start?
Yeah,
Sun Belt champ.
Yeah, while I was at Arkansas State, we won 2 regular season conference championship titles and 1 tournament conference title. It was an incredible 2 years. That was I was a grad assistant, but a full-time coach, and I worked under David Rare, who's now at the University of Houston, and he taught me even more about the game and looking at it from a different perspective. He really kind of figured out the Sun Belt. He was a big X's and O's guy, and taught me a lot about scout reports and, scouting your opponent on the other team. And I feel like that's where a big part of our success at Arkansas State came from, was learning the other team and doing specific game plans against them, which when I was at A&M, we did, but not to the same degree, if that makes sense. I think in the Sun Belt, that's really important because all the teams play so differently. There's lots of different styles of play, so that really prepared me for that. And of course, seeing success at this level is always a plus.
Yeah, for me, being at UTA, I was there for 2 seasons. We didn't quite win the Sun Belt, but we're pretty competitive. We made the tournament both years. The semifinals my last year there. Just having some background and knowing the conference and the type of athletes that are in the Sun Belt, kind of the history of who's been good. Obviously, it's been 3 years since the both of us have been in the Sun Belt, but Coastal, Texas State, App State, those teams are teams that are still competing to win championships. And so it's nice to know, whenever Tori and I first got here, obviously things were halted with COVID-19, but when we're out recruiting and we're seeing athletes and looking at them, we kind of have an idea of where they fall compared to other teams in the Sun Belt Conference. And I think just having that knowledge and that background is really good for us here at this point.
Yeah, and after you spent a couple seasons, both of you, Coach Anderson, you went to Delaware College, and Coach Plugge, you spent a couple seasons at Ole Miss. I know head coach Sean Hewitt, when it was an interview, saying that you guys would be the first calls he would make when he became head coach. But what made the two of you decide to join the Texas State volleyball team?
For me, it was a no-brainer. Yeah, it was honestly a no-brainer. Sean and I have known each other for a really long time, probably 12 years or so. And we've always joked about the opportunity of working together. And in my mind, I was like, well, Karen Chisholm is never leaving. So that opportunity at Texas State was probably not going to happen. And then when this all came to fruition and, Sean called the first time and was like, hey, like some things are going down here. Like this actually might be a possibility. Here's where I'm at. And, the opportunity for me to come to Texas State, a program that's been highly successful, won a lot of championships. They bring in great kids. It's in Texas. It's so great to be back to Texas. It was a no-brainer. I knew, Tori was the other person he was going after, and it's like a dream come true working with these two. So it wasn't a hard decision at all.
I probably had a little bit more of a hard time than Keith. My husband had a job opportunity back in Mississippi where we were living. And so I wanted to work in Sean and Keith. They're two of my really close friends. We wanted to get back to Texas. Me and my husband are both from Dallas originally. And I was pregnant at the time. So getting back to Texas would have been great. But it was a really good job opportunity that my husband had. And, he's really, really supportive of me. And we sat down and had a really hard conversation about which career path to take. And, we decided that for our family, getting back to Texas was going to be the final answer. So it definitely didn't come quite as easily, but we're so, so happy that we made the move. It's just, like he said, it's a dream working with these two and like working in a program that has so much success and so much tradition of winning. That's really hard to come by. And, I look back on it, I'm like, I probably was being a little silly, not just taking the job right away. Because I actually called Sean the day that they announced that he was going to be the head coach. I called him and I was like, I'd like to be considered for your assistant coaching position. And he just laughed at me. And I was like, wait, I'm being really serious. Like, I don't know if you're laughing at me because I'm being dumb or what, but like it all ends up working out. But it took me a little bit longer to get there, but we're so happy we're here. We're so happy to be in Texas, and we're so happy to be a part of Texas State.
And it just is interesting because what you've done in your coaching careers and playing careers for the both of you has been phenomenal. And you kind of I look down doing research, and the amount of people that you've helped along the way to get success has been absolutely fascinating. And you look at this Texas State roster, just to name a few of them, you have back-to-back Sun Belt Player of the Year, Emily DeWalt, two-time All-Sun Belt selection, Janelle Fitzgerald, 2019 All-Sun Belt selection, Tierney Scott. This whole roster, honestly, if you go down the roster row by row by row, you can look at the talent, be amazed by it. How exciting is it to work with this collection of talent?
It's out of this world. And that's been one of the coolest things for me getting into the gym with the girls is their championship mindset is real. Like, they keep each other accountable so much. Us coaches get on them occasionally, as coaches do, but they really do a lot of self-governing. It really does come from them, but that's because they knew when they got to Texas State, they were going to be a part of championships, and they know they have to work towards that every single day. So like, it's in the culture, they're living it every single day. And that's really hard to find a whole team top to bottom that feels that way. You definitely get it like from time to time with certain athletes on other teams, but I think this team's got it from start to finish.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They've embraced that winning mentality, and they're not afraid to work. They're not afraid of much at all, honestly. It's kind of cool because when I was at Delaware and then UTA, I'd recruited or seen a lot of the kids that are on the team right now. So I've had a little bit of a relationship with a lot of them, but being able to step into the gym and work with them and see how coachable they are and how hungry they are to get better and win and produce is by far my favorite part of it. All of them, like Tori said, want to win and will do whatever it takes to make that happen. So it's been a lot of fun.
I'm sure it has been. And I know it has been an interesting few months since joining the team with this pandemic, unfortunately changing life for everyone, getting hired in mid-January at the announcement being made, and then just being there for a short time. But in the short time that you've been at Texas State, what were your initial impressions of the campus and the university?
Campus is beautiful. The university is great. I would say I didn't know much about like the camaraderie between campus and athletics. And the student body is so supportive. Administration on campus is really supportive. So that relationship to me was really cool because it's not like that everywhere. So the fact that it's here at Texas State and it's part of the culture and the history, I mean, that to me is awesome.
Yeah, I think just kind of to add on to what Keith was saying, like, and I think we can identify with it after going to Texas A&M in our undergrad. It's a very tradition-heavy school, very strong alumni presence. Like, I feel that exact same presence at Texas State. Like, people that live in San Marcos, people who go to Texas State, people who went to Texas State, love Texas State. And, like, that's really cool to be a part of. Because a lot of schools don't have that much pride in their university. And so it's easy to me to make the transition because I understand it, having the pride for my undergrad. But like to have a whole community rally around your athletic department or even your university events or whatever's going on is really unique. And I mean, I totally get why people love it here. It's beautiful. The campus is really welcoming and inviting, and our athletic programs are good. So they're fun to follow and be a part of. So I think all those kind of combine to make a perfect storm of great community support.
And the final question for the two of you, I know gyms haven't officially opened up yet, and I'm sure training and the gyms are kind of still up in the air for now. However, what are some of the goals the two of you have for this team in the offseason as you head into the 2020 season?
I think one of the biggest goals for our staff is, just to make sure that they maintain the progress that they've made in the start of the spring before COVID-19 hit. We obviously know it's not going to be the same gains as it would be as if we're in spring season and we had that opportunity to train the rest of the way. So I think them maintaining on their own is a big piece. And then the other thing I would say is the relationship part of it. It's not the best opportunity with that, but the fact that we can't be in the gym and meet face-to-face consistently, trying to work on the relationship part of it and getting to know them, via Zoom calls or text message, phone calls, whatever it is, to build that part of the game, because you gain their trust, and from there, they'll run through walls for you. So for me personally, and I think our staff, I think them maintaining, and then on top of that, for me, growing the relationship with all of them.
Yeah, we're relying a lot on our core leadership group to hold the team accountable. We cannot be checking in with them and seeing what they're doing. Everything they're doing has to be on their own. And we look to our seniors and to our juniors and we say, do you guys want a third championship? Juniors, do y'all want to go 4 for 4? Because you guys have to be putting in the work now to get there. And y'all are the ones, you can be texting your teammates, hey, did you do this today? You can be encouraging them to grow. Maybe it might be a mental battle one day, or it might be physical the next. We're really depending a lot on them. So we're having talks and meetings with the leadership group and making sure that we're all on the same page, because our goal is to three-peat and our goal is to get into the top 25. And it started on December 1st or whenever the season was over last year. So it's a long road and hopefully we'll get to start on time and get there. But, it comes from the team, and I think with the group that we've got, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Well, that about wraps it up. I really want to thank the two of you for taking time every day to come and talk to me. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know, and I really can't wait to work with the both of you further in the 2020 season, the off season as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Connor. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you.